This is going to be a quick review of this 2023 R9T. This is the standard model with 2 instruments, and my GS Adventures in the shop, and they gave me this as a loaner. So here I am in the Black Forest. I got about an hour's ride ahead of me to drop off the bike and pick up my finished bike. But anyways, this is just going to be an ride impressions review. Well, not even really a review, more of like an impressions video, since I own both a R1200 GS Adventure, a 2018, and a 2015 R1200R, which I love. Now, right away when I got onto this bike, I noticed it's more cramped. It's obviously much more cramped than my GSA. I felt like I was getting onto a circus tricycle. But even for my R1200R, I feel like I'm very crouched with this bike. So that's my first impression. Here's a little walk around. And one thing that I wanted to point out on this rental here, and this happens quite a bit with these boxer engines, is you need some kind of protection here, because what'll happen is if you ever drop it, your cylinder head is going to get scratched and dented like this one did. Now, thank goodness that wasn't me, but whoever did this, or they probably had to pay for that, and that would suck. Like, if you own such a beautiful looking bike and you always have a ruined cylinder head, I mean, it really pays to go ahead and get some protection on that. So without further ado, I'm going to jump on the bike, make sure I'm recording. Yep, I'm recording, and I'm going to get going here. So nice startup sound here. I'll put it in neutral. Neutral is easy to find. This is the air-cooled engine, and immediately I noticed on this one that the shake is a bit more violent, and just about everything else is a bit more clunky and mechanical feeling on this one. And the seat is hard. Now this one has fully adjustable suspension, cruise control, heated grips, even a dynamic mode. So yeah, but comfort-wise, I noticed my right hand is falling asleep quite a bit, actually, due to the vibrations and, you know, the pressure on my hand itself. Let's get rolling here. So let's pick it up here and let's see what we can do. I've got about an hour and a half on this bike now, so I'm not like super confident on it or anything. Let's power past this buddy here. So pick up and go is perfect, not a problem. It's extremely agile in the corners. What I don't like about it, and I guess this is part of its old school nature, is that it's got no slipper clutch. So when you're banging down the gears, especially on those downhill turns, you got to be kind of really careful about how you're letting out the clutch and what you're doing there. I just love having a slipper clutch. I got used to it on my R and my GS Adventure, and it's really nice to have. So I'm just not even used to rev matching anymore, because you don't need to with the slipper clutch. It makes everything so nice and comfortable. But it's got some pickup. I mean, this engine only has about 109 horsepower. The suspension is really good. It's a bit stiff and solid, but you can adjust it, and, you know, going over bumps, yeah, you'll get a little bit of a shock through your spine. It's not a couch like a GS is. This has like an attack position, I would call it. So you got a little weight on your wrist and on your hands. But, you know, power-wise, it feels pretty damn good. Sure, there's a bit of a difference that I can feel with the liquid-cooled engine, but it handles really nicely, and the brakes are excellent. What I really love about this bike is the engine braking is so nice. You don't even have to touch the brakes. I mean, look, I'm going 100 here, and I roll off the throttle, and it gives me so much engine braking, I barely need to do anything. See, I just downshifted there to 4th. Didn't even touch the brakes. do not even need the brakes here. And if I do need them, they're there for me because they're really strong Brembos. And there's something about being in this attack position that makes you just want to like munch the corners. I mean, first of all, you feel like you're going a lot faster than you really are because you're down so low to the ground. See, I hit the brakes there a bit. I don't know what's around these corners. Sometimes you'll have like a truck or somebody like really slow in these corners and you won't be able to see them until the last minute. So then I pick it back up. Ooh, yeah, this is fun. I mean, this is a really enjoyable weekend riot type of bike. And I know a lot of people don't like the boxer engine because they're not used to it, or they think it's kind of strange the way it sticks out on the sides, but I think it gives a lot of character to the bike, and it makes it look tough and aggressive. It's like I said it in my GSA video that there's something about an airplane quality to this bike, like it's an airplane, an old airplane engine and two wheels. And that's kind of what I feel on this one, even more than my liquid cooled BMWs, is that there's something very mechanical and raw about this bike. And I guess that's what they were going for this Heritage, because it is a Heritage with some modern features like cruise control. Let's talk about some things that I don't like about it. One thing I don't like is that it's got the spoked wheels. They look nice, but they're tubed. I don't like tube tires just because they're a pain in the ass to patch if you're on a trip or something like that, or not near a garage. You have to bring a tube with you. It's kind of annoying. And the other thing is the clutch. I don't know. It's good, but it's not the greatest. I think that's partially because it's a dry clutch plate in there, so it's not as smooth as it could be with the shifting. I mean, you gotta. I'm sure that it's just a matter of me not being used to the bike. Okay, now going down to second here. This is pretty tight. Oh yeah, these brakes and just the engine braking is so good on this bike. I love me a bike with a lot of engine braking. This is a tight one. Yeah, it leans over really nicely. And here's another tight one. And there's usually like people here too, so gotta go slow here. It catches a lot of people out. But yeah, so normal braking maneuvers, like little taps on the brakes that you would normally do, you don't need to because of the engine braking. So I love the strong engine braking on this bike. Now the more that I ride it, I'm really starting to feel this bike. I'm starting to feel it here, especially on roads like these. So again, it's got a dry clutch. I'm not too fond of that. Slipper clutch would be awesome, but you know, this dry clutch is an old school thing. I had a dry clutch on my Moto Guzzi, and it was way louder than this dry clutch is. Oh yeah, I better watch my speed. That's the other thing. The instruments, nice, classic, but I've like gotten used to like seeing my speed in like a digital format, so it always takes me a couple of seconds to compute. For long trips or going to I don't know, Austria or Switzerland, yeah, this is not the bike for that, although you could, depends on your like level of pain tolerance. But for just blasting around on the weekends and like having a bike that looks really hot, this is great. Now, so let me compare it to my R1200R, because that's kind of like the closest comparison. I can't compare it to the Comfy Couch, which is my GSA. Look at that, 5th gear, 60, and then boom. This is such a tractable engine. You can be so lazy with this engine. You don't have to shift. And on these racetrack-like conditions, it's a real pleasure. So yeah, back to the comparison with my R1200R. So immediately I'll say my R1200R has a cushier seat. It's got like modern features like tire pressure monitoring. Also has cruise control, heated grips, but it's got the addition of a slipper clutch. The transmission is I don't know, it feels more positive. This transmission, when you're going up and down the gears, it has like this really kind of short throw to it, and you're just like a little up, a little down, and it's kind of it takes some getting used to. Whereas on my R1200R, it's much more clunky and positive when I know it's in gear, and it gives me that satisfying chunk. Oh, and the quick shifter. That's one thing I'm really missing on this bike. Because I have two bikes with quick shifters, both BMWs. What are these fellas doing? These guys are racing these two trucks. Both of my BMWs have quick shifters. This one does not, so like, especially for upshifting, I love using my quick shifter, and I'm really missing that on this. But hey, you want the vintage experience. The old bikes didn't have quick shifters either, so you have to do everything manual. But going back to just the pure comfort, yeah, I'm sitting much more upright on my R. I mean, I could do easily 4, 5, 6 hours in the seat on my R, and then add a windscreen and some luggage, and you got yourself a really nice touring platform that can attack the twisties, but is as comfortable as any Harley touring bike. Shaft drive, of course, which is nice for maintenance. Shit, man, I need to watch my speed a bit here. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this bike. It's a different flavor of BMW. They've got all different flavors. My personal choice, because I'm 6'2", this bike is a bit too cramped for me. I don't like the aggressive forward lean for longer distances. I like it for short blasts, but not for longer distances. And the hard seat, and just like the crouch that I have, I'm definitely sitting more crouched on this, and it took a while to get used to that too yesterday when I picked my bike up. So comfort, any day, R1200R or R1250R, whichever. Yeah, the R1200R is also faster. You do feel it a bit, but this one is no slouch. Somehow this one feels a little bit more, I don't know, it feels like a little more flickable. Maybe because it's a bit smaller than the R, it definitely feels more flickable through the corners and the twisties than my R does. But I like the rock solid stability of the R combined with the comfort, and the liquid cooled engine is a peach. That's why I have two R1200s. But this air cooled engine, no slouch either. It's a really nice engine. No, it's not going to make you shit your pants because you're going too fast. It's a matter of preference. Do you want modern and comfortable, or do you want a hot bike, looks good, and the vintage pure riding feel of the vintage air-cooled BMWs? That's the choice you have to make. So that's about all I have to say about this. Hope my rambling was useful to some people. I will see you in the next video.